Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we'll be comparing the Ford Explorer ST to the new Chevy Traverse RS. Before we get in this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Super Ford here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with the Explorer, and to the Jerry Steiner Chevy here in Salt Lake for giving me some time with the Traverse. I'll include a link to both their websites in the description down below. If you're looking for a new Ford, just ask for Jaden. And if you're looking for a new Chevy, just ask for Jeffrey. Also include a link to my car buying guide as well. Let's get into it. Powering the Traverse is a turbocharged 2.5-liter four-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 328 horsepower and then 326 pound-feet of torque. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 3-liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town and then 24 on the highway, with power outputs being 400 horsepower and then 415 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with this comparison, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, both of these are the sporty versions of their respective 3-row SUVs. So the RS package, you can see blacks everything out here. The Traverse has this split light design. It's very interesting, but I think it looks good with the lights, how they're kind of like boxier, and the overall upright appearance of everything on the Traverse. The Explorer is actually more rounded off, interestingly enough, but has a more traditional headlight design there. You can see the grill is blacked out. You do have unpainted sections on the Explorer, whereas everything's painted on the Traverse, so it does give the Traverse a more premium appearance, but there's the fronts. Now with the Traverse, our turn wheel setup is 275/45/22 in the front and over in the rear. With the Explorer, it is 275/45/21 in the front and over in the rear. And both the wheels are actually blacked out, so you can see with the Explorer ST wheels here all blacked out. And then with the Traverse wheels also blacked out. But something to note, with the Explorer we do have a red brake caliper, so it makes it look sportier. So here's the full side profile with the Explorer ST. And then here's a full side profile with the Traverse RS. Now starting things off with the Traverse, this new Traverse has a very large cargo area for the segment. And these seats, so you can throw it on the second row automatically, can't raise it though. Third row you can throw down and raise automatically. But yeah, it's pretty cool with the cargo space. Popping over to the Explorer, it's more traditional with the space, so there's not a ton behind the third row, but it is usable nonetheless. With the third row, it is, you got like the straps and everything here. But notice, we also have the buttons, so you can do whichever one you prefer, which is a nice setup to have, I think. And then this is automatic, and then also with the Traverse as well. Now, it's probably not going to show up on camera very well, but this is where you can see the Traverse is bigger than the Explorer. And when I say bigger, it's a longer vehicle compared to the Explorer. It's not a huge difference, but it is longer. And I noticed that I've got the front wheels lined up pretty well. You can see with the back wheels, the Explorer has a slightly shorter wheelbase compared to the Traverse as well. You can see with styling, the Explorer kind of has that traditional SUV style. I've got double exhaust tips there at the bottom. Traverse also has a double exhaust tips, but I feel like the Traverse looks a little bit boxier compared to before. But there's the rear. Now inside of the Explorer, legroom back here is solid. Got a little storage pocket here in the rear. We've got our own climate zone as well. You can see the charging ports and all of that. Nice trim overall with the seats here in the back of the Explorer. Same with the door panel. Got a little sunshade there in the back as well. Now as for the third row here in the Explorer, headroom is okay. One thing I don't like about the third row in the Explorer, the seats are sat really low, so it kind of pushes your knees up and you don't have a lot of space in the back. So I would reserve this for kids, but yeah, the low seats, a little bit frustrating. In the back of the Traverse, still with the legroom, so storage pocket. We've got some climate controls here in the back, heated seats as well. Pretty fancy looking seats, by the way, with all the red trim and all of that. Then the door panel too. Nice fit and finish. No sunshades like the Ford. Now, I think the third row is much more livable in the Traverse. It's still tight with the legroom, but it's got a little bit more space than the Ford. And then it's got solid headroom. And then you'll notice that the seats themselves, they aren't so low to the ground, so you're in a more comfortable position. And this leads us to the Explorer yet again. Let's see what the door panel's like. Solid. It's got memory seats, got blind spot monitoring as well. Very sporty steering wheel. It's got like these chunky grips. Paddle shifters there in the back for that 10-speed. You got stuff like adaptive cruise control, steering assist, so controls for the center. Full digital gauge cluster here in the Ford. And then we do have backup camera there in reverse. Got this little like vertical tablet. It's very interesting. Pretty quick response time though. But yeah, it definitely looks plopped on there. It is soft touch on the dash. These are the trim down below. Then you got your controls here for the radio. Dual zone climate controls, heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel as well. And then you got little storage space there. This also contains kind of like charging ports and everything. Dial shifter here. Got to switch hands, sorry about that. And then we've got our parking brake here with auto hold. Drive mode select, hill descent control, auto stop start stability control. Some cup holders. And then, yeah, good storage there. Wireless phone charging pad. Nice trim. And then it's cool the front seats how they have the ST logo. I think that's a fun aspect and just nice leather trim in general. And then we do have a panoramic sunroof. And then this one stickers for just over $61K. And now for the Traverse. Ooh. Let's see what the door panel is like. Nice and solid. Memory seat function with this. Blind spotting with the mirrors. This has Super Cruise, so it's like Chevy's self-driving basically. All the controls for that. You can see with the heated steering wheel button there on the steering wheel. Paddle shifters there. This is interesting, it has a column shifter instead of traditional. Big digital gauge cluster, a little bit fancier looking than what you have with the Ford. And we're gonna turn that off. But we'll pop it into reverse. So you can see here, 360 camera system. Really good resolution, so a little bit better than the Ford on that front. And then as for the infotainment system, quick response time. The one thing I will say is I don't like the fact that stuff like the lights are in the infotainment system, but you know, it is what it is. This trim looks cool. And then we've got our climate controls down below, so they do physical for that. Wireless phone charging pad, some cup holders here. And you can see with the storage. And then this is cool. Center console. And then these seats, got the RS logo, but nice trim down the center. Camera rear view mirror, panoramic sunroof. And then the window sticker's on the other side, but anyways, $57K for this one. So with that being said, let's sum things up with this review. Well, Traverse RS. Here's your visibility of the hood, both the mirrors. Twist the rear, and well, let us set off. So this is going to be a very, very short drive, but you know, it's better than nothing. I'll have more reviews on this new Traverse in the future. So, don't worry, they're coming. I don't know why this keeps turning on the heated seat and the heated steering wheel. Automatically, yeah, weird. This must be a setting. I'll probably have a chance to play with that more later at another date. Still debating between this and the Z71. I think this might make more sense for the Traverse because the Z71 looks cool. It's the off-road stuff, but it's also like, it's a Traverse. It's a mama car, right? Don't need to have off-road chops for this kind of vehicle, or at least that's my thought on that. Seats are comfortable. I like the, oh boy, Ford. They're just like, yep, I'm coming through whether you want it or not. Typical Ford with negative offset. I'm just giving them a hard time. Anywho, let's keep on going. Yeah, it's smooth. So this will be the shortest test drive on the planet, but we'll at least get an acceleration with this engine. Decent power. I just drove a Silverado with the 2.7 4-cylinder that Chevy makes, and that feels like it's got a good torquey punch. This feels, I'd say, slightly more powerful than the 3.6 V6 that they had in the Traverse prior. It's not as big of a difference as you'd think. I imagine this engine's probably more about emissions than it is about being way more powerful, or at least in terms of what you can feel with the vehicle, but it's not bad. It's a pretty decent engine. So some things up with this new RS. This is a pretty solid package. I mean, Super Cruise, heated cooled seats, 360 camera system, cool looks, nice interior. Yeah, it's got a lot going for it. I think they did a good job with the packaging here with this Traverse RS. Lots of features. Time will tell on this engine. That's one thing that I'll say is, you know, is this going to be a reliable powertrain? And are people going to like this more than the 3.6 liter V6? Because, you know, now people have learned that these 4-cylinder turbos don't really get better fuel economy in these bigger vehicles. So it'll just come down to, yeah, reliability and if people like the drive more. But there's the Traverse RS. Explorer ST to sum up this comparison, and well, I think the conclusion to this review will be the conclusion that many of you are also thinking. Maybe. So first off, definitely a sportier feel right off the bat in the Explorer with the steering wheel, with the seats and all that. It's just kind of more on edge, not in a bad way, but just a sporty way. And even in the parking lot, you can tell the torque difference. It's pretty substantial. I think it's so weird that Chevy still hasn't done a high-performance Traverse. Maybe they just don't think there's a market for it. I don't know. But I mean, Ford seems to do pretty well with these Explorer STs. I mean, I've even seen some car enthusiasts buy these STs. Like, they don't even need a family car. They just buy it because it's a cool performance SUV and they like Fords. Man, that bird had a death wish. That was close. Poor little guy, almost. So here's the big difference. That right there. This thing rips. It's fast. Very fast. The Chevy feels like it's got adequate power. This feels, again, like a sport SUV. And that's where I'll draw the distinction. Both of these look sporty. One of them is sporty, and that is the Explorer. The Traverse is not actually a sporty SUV. It just looks the part. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, because there's a lot of people that want the sporty looks. They don't care about the sporty performance. I mean, it's a 3-row mommy car, for goodness sakes. So it's okay. You can give the Traverse some grace for not being the sportiest. So here's how I'd look at it. I think the new Traverse looks really good on the outside. I like the premium trim on the outside. I think it looks better than this Explorer ST. Ford should kind of, you know, up things a little bit with the trim on the exterior. Just make this look a little bit more premium. I mean, they're charging over $60,000 for this. Interior wise, I like the fact there's more physical buttons in here. I don't like the screen stuff because when it breaks, well, that's it. But I do like the interior on the Traverse more. It feels more modern, feels a little bit more upscale, just better in general. I like how this drives more. The Traverse is comfortable, it's fine. This engine, you just can't beat it. But this is also $4,000 more expensive, and you're paying $4,000 for less features and I would say not as good looks on the exterior or the interior. So you're paying a big premium to have this powertrain. Let me know if you'd go ST or if you would go RS.